Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod After Dark. I am Jeff, and I'm off like a dirty shirt. And joining me on the other end of the internet, my host.
I'm Leslie, and I hope they shrivel up and fall off.
Yep. Was she talking about balls there?
No, she's talking about boobs.
Oh, that's right. The boobs in the gym class with the shrivel up and fall off. I was
Hope
talking
they
about
shrivel
this.
up and fall off.
That's right.
Choice. Great insult.
That is a good one. It's weird. It's a weird desire to have. But, here we are.
Yeah.
This week, Cheesemeisters, we are talking about Pretty in Pink, the 1986 Both Sides of the Track Are Wrong masterpiece, written by John Hughes, directed by Howard Deutsch, I think, is how you pronounce it, starring Molly Ringwald, John Cryer, Harry Dean Stanton, Annie Potts, James Spader, and Andrew McCarthy. We were watching this in conjunction with Season 3, Episode 27, A Night to Remember, because there's a prom. Our spelling connection is Kate Vernon. She played Benny, the one whose tit should shrivel up and fall off.
Oh.
She did an episode of Hotel. She was also Ellen Tighe in Battlestar Galactica.
I'm sure I've seen her, and I don't remember because we definitely watched that. So.
Mm-hmm. Her husband was like the XO with had the eye patch after a while, bald guy.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's totally her.
Oh my god. Well, she has a type she's casting, and she's stuck with it. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it looks just like her. It's just like you have to age her about 30 years. You have to like take that same face shape and just wrinkle it a little bit. But she looks the same. So, Pretty in Pink. This is from my experience of them, second tier John Hughes movie.
Oh, interesting.
Not like quality wise, but number of times I've seen it, very much second or third tier.
Okay.
I have seen Breakfast Club and 16 Candles, and obviously we've already done Home Alone and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And I've seen all of those movies double digits worth of times. Every one of them. This one, I think this was my second viewing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've only seen it a couple of times. And so it has like no grip on me in any way prior to watching it last night. But I feel like this is not the same situation for you. I feel like this is a movie you have seen way more than I have, and that you have thoughts and feelings about.
Yes, 100%. Funnily enough, I had like, I would say more viewings of Breakfast Club and 16 Candles for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know, I think I first saw this after college and didn't like it at first, but then it was one of those it was on TV quite a bit, and so I kept watching it and I just fell in love with it more and more.
Okay.
So I would say I have the most mature relationship with this particular Hughes movie because I love John Hughes. And I would say we talk about how it's going to be tough to talk about 16 Candles, but this one has probably aged the best.
It has a lot about it that is not a problem.
Yeah.
Whereas 16 Candles has a lot about it that is a problem.
Yeah.
And I still kind of love 16 Candles. I just kind of do.
I do too. And
even though I watch it and go, God, Jake Ryan's, that dude's a date rapist.
It's probably, let's compare it to loving that one relative who you don't care for, and you're like, my God, they tick me off so much, or like, oh, this hasn't aged well, but you know what? There were these good times. I don't know.
To me, they're more like the guy I knew in college who was really fun to be around once every 2 years because he could be very funny, but he
Yeah,
was also a horrible racist asshole.
that makes
Like
sense. 16 Candles is Steve. Oh,
because it buttons its shirt all the way up to the top.
I'm horrified.
You find him amusing, but you're like, fuck this guy. This guy's
Yeah,
a problem.
very much. But yeah, Pretty
I
in
get
Pink. I really enjoy it. There's so much to discuss with Pretty in Pink,
it.
you know? And not just
So
the typical, well, we'll get to it.
yeah, so for people who haven't seen this movie or not in a while, this is about Molly Ringwald plays Andy. She's a girl who she lives with her dad because her mom walked out, and her mom walked out a while ago,
A while
right?
ago.
Like it's been years when the movie starts, and he is not in good shape. He's still having trouble with this, and she is super responsible and just getting her shit done. She's got a part-time job. She's doing good in school. She's wanted and desired by men all over the place. Like kind of every boy in this movie has like a thing for her, and not
Yeah.
unrealistically because Molly Ringwald's cute as hell. Um, but she's got these three fellas who were all interested in her. One of them, James Spader, Steph, rich, total fucking asshole.
Yep.
Um, in the best James Spader way, like
Yes.
so fucking good at playing this kind of asshole. And he is, I don't know if he's the first one we meet, but like
Yes.
but he's like, why won't you date me? And she's like, because I have taste. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. You know
Yeah,
what?
leaning on her car
You're
and shit.
you're a bitch.
Yeah.
Might want to take care of that.
And then you got Ducky, who is played by John Cryer and is her best friend. Like they've been friends since they were little kids, and he is in deep smit. Totally smitten, has been for a long time. Um, it, he he's in love with her, or in like with her, or whatever he is with her. Um, but it's a very unbalanced back and forth relationship that they've got.
Yeah.
Um, and not uninteresting, but that's one of her main relationship. The Steph guy, she could give two fucks. But the third guy, Blaine, Andrew McCarthy, is a rich kid, and she is not. And he asks her out, and she accepts, and it's a whole fucking thing. And Ducky's like, you can't go out with this guy because he's rich, and they treat us like shit. And Betty with the tits that haven't fallen off yet is real nasty, and she's like Steph's, I don't know, whatever their deal is, but sometimes they fuck, I think is the
Yeah.
relationship. um like all the rich people are shitty to all the poor people, and the poor people are shitty to the rich people too. Everybody's shitty to everybody, and she's stuck in this middle spot where she's like, I I like this guy. I like this Blaine guy, even though he's rich. And is that okay? Can I like him? Can I go out with him? Is that a problem? If I do, Ducky's going to not want to talk to me anymore.
Yeah.
But he asked me to prom, and I really want to go to prom. Um, and every third conversation she has with somebody is about how he's rich and she's poor. And every second conversation she has with anybody is about love and relationships. And every third conversation she has is with her dad about how he is broken.
Mm.
Um, so there's a lot of back and forth. He asks her to the prom, and then he sort of bails on that proposal, kind of breaks her heart a little bit. She makes her own dress that looks weird, not as bad as Carrie Bradshaw weird, but
It's
I
debatable.
I'm not here for it. It's better than the fucking tutu that gets splashed by the bus at the very.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. I hate that tutu. That's okay. But
That
I
is
mean, it's a low bar to clear, being better than that tutu. Anyway, she is pretty in pink. She goes to the prom. She sees Ducky because they've been fighting a little bit, whatever. And then he's like, "No, you got to go check out the Blaine fella." And then she doesn't. She kisses him, and the movie's over. Um,
And
scene.
scene.
Yeah. Okay. So, where do you want to start with this? Because I know you have thoughts and I have thoughts, and they're probably some of the same thoughts. But where do you want to start?
The class of it all, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's. I think it is an interesting I mean, obviously, in any kind of movie, there's going to be contention with status. You
Sure.
know, I feel like with teenagers, it's not often a thing about class. Or if it is, it's done differently. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Like, I feel like She's All That kind of touches on it. I was thinking earlier, too, like, technically Romeo and Juliet is a class thing, although we don't really know who's better or worse. I mean, they're both
Mm-hmm.
technically rich.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's a
Karate
class.
Kid.
Yeah. And again, it's I guess it's confusing because wow, maybe it's not as rare of a problem as I thought, because I was just thinking back to like the problems certain people had with my high school boyfriend,
Mm,
and class was definitely one of those things, and I thought, well, that's stupid, who cares? Like,
right.
I'm sorry, is this the 1900s and I need to marry someone who will elevate me?
Mm-hmm.
That's stupid. So
Got to get that dowry.
we didn't have any cows, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Well, fuck.
um so
Yet
that
again, a circumstance where having more cows is the better way to go.
exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, I feel like, I guess it's there. I just didn't think about, I don't think about that as being a big source of drama for teens.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I think it's what Molly Ringwald thinks about in this movie all the time.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah,
it's still an interesting choice.
it is. But I mean, that's what the movie's about, right? Like it's 100% about this class divide.
Yeah.
And, like she literally lives on the other side of the tracks. And like, there's the whole like, and I guess what's part of what's interesting about it is how it is ever present for Andy and Ducky, and Blaine doesn't see it at all. Like he
Privilege.
is oblivious. Yeah, he's oblivious to it. He does like, why is this a big deal? I don't understand this. This is stupid. Like, he like, and she's like, I don't want you to take me home. Well, great, let's stay out. And she's like, no, but I don't want to stay out. He's like, well, then I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
I am complete. You need to speak to me in English because whatever it is you're saying, I don't get. And she's finally like, I don't want you to see where I live. And obviously, we know that. We've seen this over and over and over throughout the whole movie. And it's not a thought he's ever had.
Yeah.
Um, but he's dumb and wrong because Steph points it out to him, and which is why it all falls apart. Like, that's why he doesn't take her to the prom.
Yeah.
It's not because Blaine is an asshole. It's that Steph presents to him the reality, which is your parents will never be okay with this relationship you're trying to form here. So either she is a dalliance, and if
Mm,
so, have a good time, or you're being blind, and that's kind of mean. Like, you're being
mm,
kind of an asshole to her in this circumstance. Whatever happens moving forward, if you go out with her, it's going to be mean.
yeah.
It's going to be mean to her. And he realizes that, like, the reality of the situation is just that, you
Yeah.
know? And it's exacerbated. The light is shown upon it when they go out on their date, and he takes her to his friend's party where they all treat her like shit. And then she's like, "Can we please leave?" And they go to see her friends, and they treat him like shit.
Yeah.
And so you see that both sides are equally antagonistic towards the other side. And
It- I appreciate that. I know it's not nice, but I kind of want a level playing field here. Like, you
Hmm.
know, especially for a teen movie, like, let's just be real. I think there are people who can defend themselves well, um, from all the groups.
Yeah, and I mean, and I the point I think is not that the rich people are mean to the poor people. It's that there's a divide here, and both sides are shitty to each other.
Yeah.
Now there's a power imbalance, obviously, um, and all of those sorts of things. But it is clear that it's not in her head
Yeah,
that
correct.
that her seeing him is more than just her going to prom with a boy.
I wonder if it was more distinctive, this class divide, in the 80s than now, because like you watch it now, and granted, when you watch things like a class divide in Hollywood, obviously people who are supposed to be from a lower class still look decent because it's Hollywood. It's the same thing
Right.
with this character's described as plain and they're still gorgeous.
That's right, because
Um
she's wearing glasses or whatever.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
you look at her clothes, which they make fun of the entire time, like, well, oh, she
Hmm.
was shopping at Five and Dime, and you're
Right.
like, her I love her wardrobe, but
But it doesn't look like everyone else's.
well, correct. And I was doing some research, and apparently shopping vintage was not a thing at the time.
Yeah.
So that also makes sense. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, it's just interesting the things you I don't know, that you need to like deep dive into to fully understand it.
Yeah. Um. All right. So let's. This movie had a different ending. Um. When
Yes.
it started, and Laura was telling me about this last night, and I have a very specific reaction to this, but I need you to tell us the deal with the original ending of this movie and why it changed and et cetera, because you did a little digging.
I did. We immediately after watching it looked up, we tried to find the original ending.
Hmm.
You can't find it. Like, it's not there. There is a documentary about the original ending, or at least about the making of Pretty in Pink. We just watched the portion of it that was about that original ending, and there are clips from behind the scenes. But essentially, what the story was supposed to be was, it doesn't even sound like she was supposed to end up with Ducky. It was just that her and Ducky go to prom and Blaine's not there. Like, it's just her and Ducky go to prom. There's nothing, I don't believe there was anything written in about anything more than like maybe a platonic kiss or something. It
Hmm.
sounds like it was supposed to be not open-ended, but I think they wanted her to choose Ducky, and that's what they meant with their original ending.
Hmm.
Walter and I think that what they really wanted the ending to be, or what it ended up looking like, was actually her and Ducky choosing to continue a friendship, choosing her friend over wasting any more time with this guy who can't get over peer pressure to be with her.
Hmm.
Like, there was nothing about him going to the prom at all. So, I mean, it sounds like it was pretty unfinished or open ended. Um, that's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
Before I
This
dive
movie
into
doesn't. This movie doesn't work if she doesn't get with Blaine, because the whole movie is about this class issue. Every conversation is about money. Like,
yeah,
the story is about money. It's about this class divide between her and this rich boy. And if at the end she doesn't connect with him and overcome all of these societal pressures, then Steph, your bad guy, is right.
yeah,
And
and
that's that's a that's a shit movie. Like, you build this whole thing this whole time, and then at the end, it's like the fucking asshole who was leaning on her car at the beginning of the movie. He was right the whole time, and that's terrible.
It's a more cynical ending than I think they intended, and I think they really wanted to be different and have her choose the friend, the less cute guy. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, the rest of the movie doesn't fit with that ending
It doesn't support it
because,
at all.
I mean, she is annoyed with him. She barely tolerates him the first 30 minutes. And then there are these scenes that are in there to show that they do have a closeness. But it
Mm-hmm.
felt so strange. And granted, a lot of the main excuse I'm going to go back to a lot with this movie is like teenagers. Teenagers are mercurial. Things move, like emotions move differently with
Mm-hmm.
teenagers than
Sure.
other age groups, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So that's going to be the thing I lean on instead of like nitpicking things to death. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've essentially come to I don't think she needed to end up with either. I definitely was a Ducky fan at one point, and then I went, no, it should be Blaine. And then I got to the point of like, why does it have to be any of them? And now
Sure.
knowing that it could have just been her being with a friend, like choosing friendship, love that ending. But again, it does not work with this story.
Yeah, it's fine, except for that everything that precedes it doesn't support it.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, it's like if she started singing "I Will Always Love You" to Ducky at the end of this movie, and you're like, what the fuck is happening in this movie? I didn't know this was the story we were telling. I thought it was
Right?
about the whores,
Yeah.
but no, it's about Burt Reynolds and singing to him. Um, yeah, it like the movie couldn't be more specific and explicit about what it's about. It's about money and class divide. And like Ducky is a different thing. Like Ducky's story is not Andy's story.
No.
Ducky's arc is he's deeply in love with his best friend. And to the point but he's very open about it, even though he never comes out and says it to her. Everything he does says it. And if she's not noticing it, then she's either not interested or she's oblivious. And I think it's probably the former.
Yeah.
Um, but like so much so that he goes and talks to her dad about it very upfront. And and her dad is like, yeah, um, there's no guarantee she's going to feel this way about you. It may not work out.
Yeah.
But that's not the point either. Like the point isn't whether it'll work out. The point is that you have these feelings and you should pursue them, because what are you doing with your life if you don't?
Yeah.
Like her dad is very much a romantic, you
Yeah.
know. Um and so Ducky does all of these things to be the person that she will respond to. But that's not the response she has for him. And it's never going to be.
Yeah. And even though I now feel like he has the most growth out of
Mhm.
all the characters in this, he still has some really annoying moments. I mean, one, yes, teenage boy. Um, but the way he treats her when she says she's going on a date with Blaine, like
Mhm.
it's so I mean, yes, he's hurt, but for someone who is supposed to be her best friend, the nicest person to her in school, loves her,
Mhm.
he's pretty shitty when he doesn't get what he wants.
Yeah, but it's his reaction is real and
Yeah.
justifiable based on everything we know about him. Like if he has a reaction that's other than that, I think it rings false.
Yeah.
Like I found that whole interaction with her to be um, really wonderful from like a storytelling and a performance like standpoint,
Mm,
because it's all these layers in his reaction. Like
mm-hmm.
there's the she's my best friend, I'm in love with her layer. There's the she's choosing someone else layer. There's the and then there's the societal, these people shit on us all the time. And you are choosing the people who shit on us over me.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievably painful for him on all of these levels, and it shows. And so his
Yeah.
reaction is, it's mean, but it's from a place of deep hurt, and
Yeah.
that makes it great. You know, just from a story perspective, it makes it so good because he has to feel that way. You
Yeah.
know, if he feels any other way, it's like if the movie ends with her going with him, it doesn't make sense. It's not true.
Yeah.
You know, he has to be, because he's a walking open wound as it is. And
Yeah.
then the worst thing that he could possibly imagine happens, and he's pissed.
Yeah.
You know,
I
so
find it I find it really interesting. Well, obviously that they thought that was the ending to go with. But then
mhm,
what also interests me, and I wish there were better experiments or uh I don't know, checks of opinion, surveys done of this, but like they only changed it because they did a screening. I don't know how many
right,
screenings. It could have just been one. And apparently people booed. And
yeah,
they went back to the drawing board, rewrote it like 6 months later, or rewrote it and then shot it 6 months later, something to that effect. And but then nowadays, anyone I have talked to about this, you hear, like it should have been Ducky. And I'm like, when did this change? And how common is this? Like, I would love to do a poll, and maybe I will with this one. Like, we don't often do polls, but I'm curious. Like,
hmm,
and also, but like, I wish I could go back in time and do a poll then
hmm,
as well. Because
yeah,
yes, teens are different, but not, I don't think they're that different, you know? Like, I think it
yeah,
is natural they would want to pick the cuter person. I think it is natural for teenagers to want to pick or want to see characters pick the more attractive person because we want to see ourselves in these characters. We want to feel like we can get the more attractive person, not to say that Ducky isn't cute. Like it's just
hmm.
again, it's weird. It's all weird.
So here's 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 what I think about this. I think, and I'm just supposing here, but I think that the reason the people in the screening didn't like her ending up with Ducky is because it doesn't make sense. Like if you watch this whole movie and that's how it ends, I think you go, "What the fuck?" But if
Okay.
you watch the movie, you only see the way it ends now, and you see Ducky. And I think that I think when most people watch movies like this, even if their real high school experience was captain of the football team, you know, homecoming king, I think everybody, at least a little bit, identifies with Ducky. They
Mm-hmm.
identify with wanting something that they can't have. They
Yeah.
identify, everyone feels like they don't fit in at some point in some way. And Ducky owns his oddity. Like he owns the fact that he's out there. And like he dresses all funky, he's always got the jokes. He gets tossed in the girl's bathroom and he calls the tampon dispenser a candy machine, and like whatever. It's a whole, he's always putting on a bit to make himself feel like he fits. And I think that people who've watched this movie for the last 35 years go, I like that Ducky kid. I see myself in him. He should get the girl. And it doesn't make sense narratively. So
No.
if you see the movie put together and it ends with her getting with him, you go, well, this is dumb. That didn't even make sense. Well, this wasn't what. Why is she singing "I Will Always Love Him"? This is crazy. But if
Yeah.
you watch it and you see how it ends and you go, oh, she had a choice and the other choice was the guy I identify with, that's who I think she should be with. Because we all want to be with
Maybe,
Ringwald.
yeah. Maybe, maybe they just I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say this. Maybe a lot of the boos were about the audience thinking, yeah, like you said, this narrative doesn't compute. This doesn't
Yeah.
this doesn't meld. And yeah, like it's so hard to say. Like it does make more sense her picking him. And if even for her to pick no one would not be as satisfying an ending. That would again be quite cynical, and you would have to just change up so much. It's a different film, much like her picking Ducky is a different film, and different actors too.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't feel like it works if she goes with Ducky.
that's
Um,
fair. And it's not like he loses. They have a
mhm.
renewed bond. They like he gives her that chance to go after him like, "Hey, I'm here for you now. I'm sorry. He came here alone. You should go." He's again, the growth I saw this time around watching him, I was just like, "Oh, which it's always been there, but you see new things each time." And like he sees someone else. Like he is open to new experiences now because the one thing he really cared about, and maybe he realized he didn't love her like he thought. You know,
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
you can love someone and then you love someone else and you're like, "Oh, there are so many different types of love." Yeah. And again, for teenagers, it would totally make sense. I mean, fuck. Romeo was in love with Rosalind and then, he's mooning over her and then, oh, hey, she's available. Yeah, we splash. Ah!
Um, can we talk about the grown-ups in this movie a little bit?
Sure.
Because there's two grown-ups in this movie. There's her dad, played by Harry Dean Stanton, and there's her boss, Annie Potts,
Yes.
um, who I is probably 25 and talks like she's 80.
Thank you. I did. Okay, this has always been a source of confusion for me because
Yeah,
she has a dress and a hairstyle of the prom from the 50s and
right.
it's 80s. And I'm like, honey, you were a zygote.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's
she's not 30 in this movie. She just isn't. But she
okay.
acts like she's so old. She's like, "Oh, I could be your mother." And like, she just it's hilarious like how she thinks of herself as so old. Um but the thing about the grown-ups in this movie is that they're unlike any grown-ups in any other teen movie I think I've ever seen.
Hmm.
Like for one, they both have really good advice to give.
Yeah.
Like kind of every time they're asked for advice, they have good advice to give. They're not shown as being stupid.
Yeah.
They're not dumb adults who are not worth listening to. And that is interesting. But what makes them even more interesting is especially, and this is especially true with her dad, is that um he's in crisis.
Yeah.
This is a person who is in a mental health crisis and has been for years. Like
Yeah.
he barely gets out of bed. He can't motivate himself to go out and get a job. He's working part-time just to keep a roof over their head, but he's barely interested in doing that.
Yeah.
And he's not presented as a deadbeat. He's
No.
shown as someone who is struggling.
Yeah.
And the relationship they have with one another is one of mutual support, one of mutual honesty, because he gives her advice like more than once in the movie that is actively helpful for her. And she has advice for him, which is like, take your blinders off. Like, I knew when I was 5 that mom wasn't in it.
Yeah.
And so when she left when I was 14, I saw it coming a mile away.
Yeah.
And you still don't see it. And it is such an interesting dynamic that they have. And
Yeah.
her wisdom for him is, I mean, that's the kind of maturity you get when a kid has to parent themselves.
Yeah.
And when they've been through some shit.
Yeah.
And so the fact that the parental relationship is so two-sided and so complicated, that is not like when Paul Dooley comes down, and shouts to Paul Dooley, and sits down next to Sammy Davis Baker Jr. on the couch in 16 Candles, and she's like, he's like, I don't think you're a dork. Your mom doesn't think you're a dork. And she's like, Mike thinks I'm a dork. Well, Mike is a dork.
Yeah.
But like he's open and he's warm and he's a loving father, but
Yeah.
he's not complicated.
No.
Like he's upset that Jenny's marrying a bohunk too. Like it's like it's just he's a surface level 80s dad.
Yeah.
But this Harry Dean Stanton performance is super fucking interesting.
It is. And I was struggling to write notes about it and like thinking of ways to talk about it, but it's so true. Their relationship is not a typical father-daughter relationship.
No.
And I think they directed them so beautifully because
Mm-hmm.
there are moments where you don't just see her taking care of him. I mean, it's almost like she's become her mom. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no one freak out, but it's like they're an old married couple almost. They have, you
They have
know,
roles.
they have roles. They connect with each other. They have their habits. She gives him
Mm-hmm.
a peck on the forehead, and is like, you're supposed to be up for this. Are you,
Right.
she's doing like keeping him on task like a couple, like a partnership would. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's it was just fascinating to watch. And
Mm-hmm.
but then how they're able to weave that in with moments of reminding us and them that, oh yeah, we are father and daughter, without it getting too contentious. Like
Mm-hmm.
obviously when they start fighting, he's like, wait, I thought, like, oh, you think you're allowed to say this stuff now? And of course she's like, you're damn right I am.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this might be the most uh enthralling father-daughter relationship in a
Yeah.
movie.
It's really interesting. And it's the thing I like about him is he is broken by the fact that this woman he loved left him.
Yeah.
Just gone. No explanation, gone. And she's been gone for a long time, and he cannot get past it. But he's not a cynic.
Yeah.
This heartbreak hasn't turned him cynical. He is still a hopeless romantic. Like his encouragement to both of the kids is you need to pursue love, even though like it's gonna kick the shit out of you. You
Yeah.
know, even though like he's Liam Neeson and the little redhead kid in Love
Yes.
Actually. You know, like it is no Claudia Schiffer showing up, but
No.
he, he only encourages them to chase their heart.
Mm-hmm.
And when she's like, I can't, like, because he's rich, he's like, the fuck out of here with that. Go.
Yeah.
Go, like, go to the prom with this boy. He asked you, didn't he? You like him, don't you? Well, then fuck all the rest of it. Go for it. And like, and that is so cool to see from someone who went for it and was kicked in the balls
Yeah.
and still can't stand up straight. But when you ask him, when push comes to shove, this guy is not protect your heart. This guy is chase it.
Well, and
And that's so cool. It's so interesting.
it's beautiful and unique. And to that same end with Andy's character, I mean, she should other characters in her situation have been utter cynics. Characters not in her situation have been utter cynics about love. I mean, the Joey Potter very much like, no, this is going to be a problem, like, even though I'm falling in love, this is but Andy's for it. She's open to it. She has other aspirations, and she's very much like, just getting through each day until I graduate high school. Oh, there's a boy. And then the fact that the dad asks her, are you in love? Like, you don't get that either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Parents
And
never
she's
believe
like,
kids fall in love.
no, the emotions aren't real until they're your emotions. Like that's,
They're not real until you can rent a car.
well, I don't know. It's just cheaper then. If they give you the car, 4 fucking wheels and a seat.
That's what I'm thinking parents are thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, I don't know. I feel like parents should be more like Harry Dean Stanton. Like
Agreed.
remembering exactly what that feels like
Yeah.
and understanding how it makes you irrational. And, by the way, Ducky pulling the Mikey, but he's time stamping his own voicemail messages. Like, but it was funny when Ducky did it. It wasn't funny when Mikey does it. Like it's played. It's a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
But like, I love that she's just like another voice, another Ducky,
And then
Ducky
Ducky,
again.
stop calling. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. I did like that bit is it's still there.
Yeah.
Across the decades, that bit exists. All right, I feel like you might have some thoughts about the intimacy adventures in this film.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
About this film,
Oh yeah.
not about other things and other conversations, but about this film.
I was debating. I'm not gonna go into it. Although I will say, my new red flag. If a director, anyone in the theater, film, whatever, if they say, I'm old school, I don't think this is gonna work.
Yeah.
That's the new I'm a nice guy.
Look, Brandon, I'm old school. I'm talking with my hands.
We'll leave it at that. I had a day as an icy people. That we'll just say that. I had a day. This movie, Pretty in Pink. Teenagers in Love. Yes, bring it back. No one wants to hear me mad. At least not mad about things we want to hear about. Anyway, I was fascinated by, I might say that a lot, but this one really was, because there were moments of good and bad intimacy, but
Mhm.
sometimes the not great intimacy fell into, oh, they're teenagers, they're not supposed to be good at this. It should
Right.
seem a little awkward. Like, you probably like, you definitely still want to choreograph your young artists. I
Hmm.
fully endorse that more than anything. Um, but we have this term in in intimacy choreography where we call it a container, and you set like parameters for the work,
Hmm.
basically. So like, maybe instead of plotting out everywhere your hand can go, you say, um okay, I'm okay with, like, you touching my waist, my shoulder, like the back of my head, and like, okay, well, we'll work within there. Because especially with teenagers kissing, they're gonna be all over the place usually.
Hmm.
We saw a lot of hands. I mean, there was a moment where these kids in the background were dancing, and the guy's hands were on like her upper glutes,
Hmm.
and a teacher came by and like smacked him away, and when the teacher went away, he lowered them back down.
Nice.
Yeah. um I'll come back to kissing because I like to go in order. you know uh Annie tolerates Ducky. Like, there's nothing about uh how they relate to each other physically or emotionally that suggests she's in love with him.
Yeah.
So again, does not make sense.
I think she loves him. I think, but she's not in love with him. There's no romance.
I love my best friend,
Right.
but yeah, like, we have always understood it's a platonic thing. Like, yeah, and Ducky comes to understand that. She's always understood that, I
Hmm.
think. Um, you know, Sticking with Andy and Ducky, I mean, I love how in the very end they take hands. Like, that's beautiful alone. And then, but then also, if you see like them, like the wide shot of them, their hands are still together, but there is ample space between their shoulders. So
Hmm.
like, again, signifying this is platonic.
Hmm.
That's all. We
Yeah.
have each other. We don't we don't want each other. We don't
Right.
like need each other in that way. That
Hmm.
says something else. I didn't like, in this scene felt forced to me, when she's finally when we finally see that Andy has any love for Ducky at all. They're in her room and they're talking over
Hmm.
something, and she has this really bullshit line about like, "Oh, you always make me mad, but I secretly love it." And they're like head to head. Mm, I
Yeah.
I would rework that. I don't know how exactly, but it just, there's something about it that feels so contrived, um,
Yeah.
and can be done better without seeming so abrupt. I don't know. It felt abrupt to me.
Gotcha.
Um, okay, Blaine and Andy. I like how they had this, because they kind of come up out of nowhere. We've never seen this guy. Like, we don't know if she has ever really, like, I don't know, had any interaction with him before.
Hmm.
Like,
It's
this
not
was
like it's not like Jake Ryan, where like she like
exactly.
she sees, oh, she's like, oh, I dreamy Jake Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's cute how they're very awkward with like closeness at first,
Hmm.
which makes sense for
Hmm.
teenagers. And oddly enough, they're not really shy about the eye contact. Like, that seems to be the way they feel most comfortable being close.
Yeah.
Like, I saw that quite a bit. Um, oh my god. Sidetrack from Blaine and Andy, but not really, because they were at this party. There's a fucking teen orgy happening. What the hell? What?
That's what rich people parties are like. Come on. You don't know that?
I didn't get invited to a lot of parties in high school, so clearly I missed
Mm.
out.
Hey, look, the knobs. There's stuff going on.
I mean, I think there was drug stuff happening, but I don't know about orgies. Um, I I don't know. That was one of those that felt like again, the it's the 80s, it's Hollywood. Throw in some sexcapades. We got to get people waking up. These rich kids, they do crazy shit.
Yeah.
Um yeah, weird. I'm hoping those were all adults, but
They were.
can't do anything about it now. Um
Adults now,
yeah, they are consensual now.
one way or another, those people are,
They're legal now. What'd you
yeah,
say?
they're 60.
Yeah. Blaine and Andy, when they were anytime they were kissing, Andrew McCarthy kept doing this finger thing, like
Hmm.
with it would be three fingers, like across her face. And
Interesting.
I think it bothered me more as like, ugh, I don't want to say as a director because I don't want that job. Um, but as a viewer, as looking at the picture and like maybe as a choreographer, it bothered me, I guess. After all. Yeah, exactly. I tried to not pin it on choreography, but it did. But it did. And it I don't know, it felt menacing almost. It
Hmm.
felt
Interesting.
controlling. And I don't think that's the story they're trying to get across. I don't think that
Yeah.
is part of Blaine's thing. Yes, he's rich, but like that's a Steph thing. I could see Steph totally like
Great.
using his hands, like being
Yeah.
aggressive. Anyway, so interesting. But otherwise, like they kissed like teenagers. They kissed
Mhm.
like this was not something that they are doing for work, which
Mm.
good job for Hollywood. Like it didn't fall into some standard Hollywood form, not entirely like the Hollywood formula kiss or kiss formula. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I love that she drops her purse in the
Mhm.
final scene as they're kissing. Like that's a cute, different thing to do than say the foot pop.
Sure.
Um, it keeps it sweet, it keeps it natural, and I would say present day. Like
Have you seen the show Nobody Wants This?
no, not yet.
Oh, it's really good. Kristen Bell, Adam Brody. Um, they have a they have a scene where they eventually kiss, and it is there's they do a play on the like dropping your things
Uh huh.
kiss, and but the way they do it is I don't want to spoil it because I think you'll really like it.
Okay.
It's such an it's a fun way that they went about doing it, where you're just like, yes, I like that kiss. Um, yeah, it's really fun with the way it and it's the same idea of this kiss is so passionate that we can't hold these things. Like
Yeah.
our hands should be empty right now. But they tackle it in a much different way, and it's just kind of great.
Yeah.
So highly recommend. Nobody Wants This across the board. But the
I
kiss
love that.
between the two of them are like really really good. So
Yeah, and like, you know, I didn't feel it like Annie Potts ask, but I think they felt it as
mhm,
characters. And it just it looked natural. It seemed to fit with the story minus a few things. So,
yeah.
I think their best kiss was the one where they were on the second date at that stable or country club something.
Mm,
And they're just like necking the whole time and like
mm,
it's just again, the shifts in their relationship throughout the movie were quite back and forth, but they're teens, uh they're covering a lot of ground.
mhm,
Um and like I just think the way it was edited helped smooth out some of those jarring moments because again, like you said, the through line is we're concerned about class. We're going to prom. Are you
mhm.
sure?
Right.
Like I really like you. I'm also worried about this thing that's a big sore for me. And,
Hmm.
like, I like you. My friends are pressuring me to not like you, and I don't
Yeah.
know how to handle that.
And your
Um,
friends are pressuring you not to like me. Like this
that's
is a
true.
two-way street.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
always forget about that, but you're right. Um, I, I, I had this thought at one point in the movie. I thought, are any of these kids really friends?
Mm,
It was almost like Mean Girls in that no one is really nice to each other.
yeah. I think Ducky and Andy are friends. Um, but I don't know why Blaine and Steph talk to each other. I think their families have been friends for a long time and they've known each
Yeah,
other since they were kids. But Steph's a total dick.
yeah. Um, Worth noting the Ducky Annie Potts kiss is
Yeah,
not great. I mean,
not great.
I I at least appreciate the fact I'm sure they you know what, I have no idea. I'm assuming because of time. Um they totally could have not actually kissed and he could have just dipped her. Um
Right.
like that's what I would have done if I have to choreograph something where someone is underage
Hmm.
um and another person is older. I mean, one, I don't think that would be done anymore, hopefully. Um but if it is, call me.
Yeah,
Um
there you go.
but yeah, it's I mean, it doesn't serve anything. It makes him look like even more of an asshole. It's a really weird moment for Annie Potts afterwards. Like,
Yeah,
I get they directed her to do something funny, but I didn't like it. I didn't think it was
yeah,
funny. And not just because of
yeah,
the ooginess of it, I just didn't think it was funny.
yeah. I mean, I think she needed to be, um, she needed to feel desirable because
Okay.
she was like, I'm so fucking old, you know. Like I think she needed a little bit of a goose that way, and it led her to an age appropriate relationship with a yuppie. Um,
Right. What a strange part of this
yeah.
film. But Andy needed to see that. She needed to see someone of her ilk, you know, dating a richer guy and enjoying it.
Mhm. And also, like Annie Potts dressed like a yuppie is no less a costume than the way she was dressed when she was running the record store. Like it, she's very flamboyant in everything she does. I mean, she's the big fucking shoulder pads and that, but
Yeah.
her hair was always up, but sometimes it was like this, and sometimes it was like this, and um, but it was like I saw her dressed like that, and I went, that totally fits her. Like that is who this character is. She is over the top in her stylings, no matter
Yeah.
which direction they're going. So it seemed, I mean, we didn't get to know this yuppie fella, but um, it seemed like they were good for each other.
He seemed like a nice guy. You
Yeah,
know, he wasn't weird
yeah,
with Andy. He was just like, "Oh, she's mentioned you." Like,
yeah,
"Oh, you're the famous Andy," you know? Just like, "Oh, well, will you tell her to shake a leg?"
yeah, exactly. Because
Decent
we're
guy.
running late here. Anything else intimacy wise?
No. There's a lot of good
All right,
stuff, a lot of interesting stuff.
there is. All right, so let's go right up to the tracks, but not to the other side of the tracks because I don't want you to really see where Needle Drop Forest is.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to know. There's two things I think I want to talk about here with the music in this movie. Um, One, I think this is the best soundtrack for a John Hughes movie, start to finish, and I
Yes.
don't think there's a close second.
No.
Um, because like the title song is fucking awesome. Like the psychedelic first, Pretty in Pink is a great song. It could have nothing to do with this movie, and it's still a great song.
Yeah.
Uh, but then there's all these other random songs dropped in this movie, like Wouldn't It Be Good? Um, it's a Nick Kershaw song. He wrote, he didn't perform it, but
Mm.
Ducky singing "Love" by John Lennon. Love is real, real is love. Like what a what a like that is such a open, heartfelt, wonderful John Lennon song,
Mm,
and way underknown,
yeah.
for as good as it is. Um, and the fucking Copacabana, and then like If You Leave by Orchestral Movements in the Dark is such a great song,
I
and
know.
like more of this, and then there's like um Left of Center is playing like real soft in the background at one point, the Suzanne Vega. If you
Okay.
want me, you will find me left of center off of the strip. Like it's such a good song, and it's real just underneath.
Yeah.
Um, and his other movies like have iconic song moments, but not throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And none of them are as good as the tenderness scene.
Yeah.
Ducky coming in and dancing to Otis Redding is. I texted you this because like up until that point in the movie, you're like, I don't know why people like Ducky. Like
Yeah.
he's just this guy. And then that scene happens.
Yep.
And it is so fucking good. Like the energy of it, it is the performance of it, the fact that that this is something this character would do.
Yeah.
And it's this song, which is, I mean, like, you can never say enough good things about Otis. And this song's a great song. And that scene is so good that it gave John Cryer an entire career.
Yeah.
Like, and not that he's not good, because he is. Like, I like John Cryer. I'm not a Two and a Half Men
No.
fan at all. Like, that show's just not my speed. Um, but I think John Cryer is great.
Yeah.
And if it's not for this tenderness scene, I don't think Ducky becomes Ducky.
No.
And I don't think John Cryer becomes John Cryer if it's not for how well he fucking drills this scene. Um, it's a fucking delight, start to finish, no notes, tenderness,
Edict.
edict, boom. Um, and you don't know this because you haven't seen it, but there is another '80s movie iconic scene involving this song.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
and everybody knows it who has seen this movie, but there is a scene in Bull Durham where they're on the bus, and Tim Robbins as Ebby Calvin Nuke LaLoosh meet. He's a rookie. He's dumb. He doesn't know his ass from third base. And Kevin Costner is the veteran, and uh, Nuke is playing the guitar on the bus, and he's like, "She may get woolly, girls they do get woolly because of all the stress."
Oh my God.
And Kevin Costner he like grabs the guitar and he's like, "Nobody's woolly. She's weary. Nobody's stressed. She's wearing a dress." Like he's like shouts at him for getting the words wrong.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the opposite usage of that song, but both of them are perfect
Yeah.
for the movies that they're in. Um, I was a big fan of the music watching this last night. Um,
Yeah. I was listening to it before we recorded.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
I
soundtrack.
I love the soundtrack. It's a go-to for me on
Mm,
days that I want maybe a certain feel. I
hmm.
just love music soundtrack or movie soundtracks.
Yeah.
And some for me, I mean, you mentioned a lot of the ones that stand out. I mean, obviously Pretty in Pink, If You Leave. Um,
Hmm.
I noticed this time that The Smiths is underscoring a
Yeah.
scene, which I
Hmm.
love. Okay. I I'm scared I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but Elegia?
Oh, that song. Yeah, by the New
That
Order song.
song is makes me feel so many things. It's
Mm.
beautiful, it's haunting. I was just telling Walter, I was like, I know I had heard this song before I saw it featured on Stranger Things, but it was seeing it being played underscoring Will's funeral that made me like Sink into it
Spoilers.
more. Wow. From the first season, wow. Whatever. It so perfectly sets the scene, like sets the tone of the scene.
Yeah.
So I really love that. And obviously too the try a little tenderness. Like that is the moment that I relate to Ducky the most.
Hmm.
Like I was definitely that kid either breaking out into song or like half performing a song. And I say half performing like either lip syncing or just dancing along to it. I
Hmm.
it's that's why we love Ducky.
Yeah.
That and him showing up at the prom for her. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think people like that Ducky just fucking tackles Steph and just tries and beats the shit out of him. Like
Fair.
I think that's a big thumbs up for Ducky moment.
Yeah. But it starts
Yeah.
with him killing that number.
I know. Because of
Like
all the stress.
if I get nothing else like from my theater film career, like getting to do a scene like that would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can eat off of it for 50 years. I mean, like,
And I mean, yeah, I'm sure it's exhausting. I don't care. It looks fun as hell and like that's
oh
what
God.
people love watching dance scenes, you
Mhm.
know? Uh one that I love in a modern film, Silver Linings Playbook, there's a dance near the end of it, and it's they're not great, but it is fun for all the music they throw in and for all the like
Yeah.
different moves they do. You know, it's noteworthy in its own way.
Nice. Yeah, I have not seen Silver Linings Playbook.
I
I think
really
I'd
love
like it. I just never saw it. We've discussed this, but this is one of the things they don't tell you about having kids is that when you have kids, there's a 10-year period where you're just not going to have seen any of the movies. Like, unless it's fucking Paw Patrol or shit, like like superhero movies and stuff, you don't see any of it. You
Yeah.
see the Pixar movies and you see little kids movies for about 10 years. And so anything that came out between, say, 2011 and COVID, I feel like I didn't see any of it. I missed them all. Just missed them all.
You had all of COVID to catch up. What were you doing?
I know. We were putting together puzzles. What were you doing? Everybody's putting together puzzles.
I don't even remember anymore half the time.
All right. What else time? Um, is is this anyone's defining role? John Cryer.
Hi, John Cryer. Hi,
Yeah.
Andrew McCarthy.
You think it's his? It might
I
be.
do. I don't fucking remember anything about St. Elmo's Fire.
No, that's true. But I mean, I think San Almost Fire is also like it's geared for like all these John Hughes movies are geared towards teenagers, and that one's geared towards people in their 20s. And I just
Yeah.
think it hits different. It just doesn't land the same way for people.
It's
Um,
sad.
that's true. Although I will say, in its defense, that song by John Parr, that's a great song. Saying Almost Fire, the theme
I'll
song, that's a
I
great Man in Motion. That's a
yeah.
great song. Um, and also, uh, I anyone whose dad gets remarried and doesn't refer to the woman he marries as their stepmonster is just not doing their job.
Wow.
Like I mean, even if you don't feel that way, that's your takeaway from St. Almost Fire is stepmonster.
Okay.
It's pretty solid. So, um, I don't. It's not Molly Ringwald's, I don't think.
It's definitely up there.
It
Like
is.
I think I think the only way it's her defining role is if this is someone's favorite Hughes movie, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Because all of those movies center her.
Yeah.
I mean, she's 16 Candles is obviously her centric, and I mean, Breakfast Club is an ensemble piece, but she's as big a piece of that ensemble as anybody.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, for me, the it's because of my relationship with 16 Candles, but it's that she's Sammy Davis Baker Jr. To me more than she is Pretty in Pink. Although she
Fair.
is pretty pink.
Yeah.
What else you got for what else's? Anything else?
From the very beginning, someone mentioned, I think it's her that throws some shade at prom. And
Uh,
first thing I wrote down was like, okay, then why does prom exist?
mm,
Why is it still here? And so I did a little research right before we started.
ooh.
And history.com came through.
Oh, there you go.
So just brief summary, because I'm not an expert. I only just read this. Also, no one's going to want to hear the whole thing, or if they want to, you go to history.com.
History.prom.
Mm. So, prom inspiration goes as far back as ancient Greece, apparently.
Hmm.
Like there were, you know, parties for young adults or young men moving into adulthood, and they drank, they partied, and then that turned into debutante balls,
Mm-hmm.
which then turned into um they were like, oh, you know what, not everyone can have a debutante ball because not everyone is rich. We'll make something for the plebes at school.
Mm-hmm.
And I read also that apparently like the first noted prom was in a journal entry from like 1865 or something.
Oh, really?
Oh
Interesting.
yeah. It goes, and it sounded like it started at college. So again, still elite because not everyone went to college. Like
Right.
not everyone could go to college in those days. Um, and then apparently there was like this golden age of prom between like 1930s and 40s.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's the Great Charleston Contest.
Exactly. I I don't know why those seem. I mean, 1930s, yeah, and 40s, kind of a tough time. But then again, people need fun, and I guess it makes sense then if they were like, you know what, people can't afford to have debutante balls anymore. We'll throw something like it at school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it kind of fell away for a while until apparently two little films came out called Footloose and Pretty in Pink,
Interesting.
and
There's a promise-ons.
that these inspired a resurgence in prom. And I found some
Hmm.
very upsetting figures about what like the average cost that people spend on prom, and I'm like, I really hope that's not what we did. But again, I found it very fascinating. I it just still doesn't quite answer my question of why do we still do prom if people seem to hate it, but maybe that's just the vibe they want to put out there.
Yeah.
um I don't know. There's been history of them canceling proms either because of money or protest. I would say also lack of money. um
Mm-hmm.
you know, traditions can be changed.
Yep. Yeah. I
As they
mean,
clearly have been, you know, I mean,
mm,
fuck it, it goes all the way back to symposia in ancient Greece.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, as we discussed, in A Night to Remember, the 90210 episode, not the movie about Hiroshima,
Or
um,
Titanic.
or Titanic, or the six red herrings.
Two corpses, everything's fine.
That's right. Um, it, it prom's role as like a rite of passage, as like a thing that people lionize and look forward to, and they hang all this meaning on it, like she does in this movie. Like, you have to go. Um, and Annie Potts is like, yeah, you have to go, but if you don't go, also, what are you missing? You
Well,
know?
and fair point, but I love that she goes and says, I want them to know that they didn't break me.
Yeah, yeah. Her
Incredible.
prom is an act of defiance. Yeah,
Yeah,
which is
because
kind of cool.
I mean, there was that vibe when I went to school dances. Like, you can't go without a date. Yes, I can.
Right. Hmm.
Like, oh,
I go
so
everywhere without a date. Watch me. I'm the king of going places without a date, motherfucker.
and I was in high school. It's
Same.
fine.
Yeah.
I turned out
Look at
okay.
us now. Look at us now. Fucking baller.
rocking and rolling and whatnot.
Not. All right. What is this the EST of for you?
I feel weird saying this, but I also think it's true. I think it's the truest teenage movie.
Interesting. Okay.
I think it's true in how kids in all groups deal with bullies or contention. The
Mhm.
rich people aren't being bullied. They're being sassed back. They're not being bullied though. They're
Right.
just fine.
Yeah.
But obviously everyone there are always clique problems.
Hmm.
There's insecurities about how you look, appear to others, what your friends think of you, what your friends will think of you depending on who you date,
Hmm.
um, balancing job and school, um, trying to keep above it all while in school and being bullied all the time. Um, there's a lot of stuff in this that I'm like, this probably rings true for a variety of people. And even though there's a bit of a Cinderella story to it, like I feel like it's one of the truer types, like
Hmm.
he just has to get over himself to get over his insecurities to realize, yes, I can be with her. And she just has to realize I'm still going to be me no matter what. Oh, he said he loved me and he's come around in a weird way. You know what? I'm a teenager. I don't have to think too deeply about it. I want to make out.
Hmm. It's prom night.
Like I'm still going to have my problems between friends, especially if
Hmm.
if there's a concern about a crush,
Hmm.
affecting all that as well. Like, so yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's the truest teen movie.
Nice. I think it's the most what it's about movie I've seen in a long time. Where, like, it's just every conversation is about can I date him because he's rich and we're poor, and it's just they just hammer it home over and over again what this movie is about, and like I, it's almost like American Pie, where like every conversation in American Pie is about having sex, like to an unnatural degree. Like teenagers talk about having sex a lot. Nobody talks about it as much as they do in American Pie, as we
Yeah,
discussed in our American Pie episode, which we liked way more than we thought we would. People should go back and listen to
we
it.
did.
But this is so much about money. And it's like every conversation she has is about the fact that he has money. And it looks like, okay, fuck, I get it, you know? But okay, I mean, and that's why it doesn't work if she ends up with Ducky. Like,
She's
oh,
really afraid of seeming like a gold digger.
yeah, and you don't want that.
She heard that song and
No,
said, "Oh,
not from that
I,
asshole. She didn't.
huh?"
Not from that asshole. She didn't. Fuck Kanye.
Well, definitely.
Edict.
Edict.
It's one of the strongest edicts I have is fuck Kanye.
Yep.
So there's that. Um, all right. I think that once again we have proven my theory that everything comes back to Aaron Spelling.
Even Pretty in Pink.
Even Pretty in Pink. This is a good movie. I enjoyed watching this movie this week.
Yay!
Yeah, it was a good one. So join us here next week, Cheesemeisters, on Wednesday when we watch season 3, episode 28, Something in the Air. Because I got opinions about the shit that goes on in that episode, you
Donna
guys.
Martin graduates. Donna Martin.
Donna Martin masturbates. Donna Martin. Um,
That makes sense.
yeah, yeah. Um, so we have not yet discussed what we're going to watch next week, but I think I know what you want to watch. I just don't know if we can do it. I don't
That's
think we've
fine.
looked it up. Have we looked it up?
No, we haven't. I haven't, anyway.
Yeah, I thought you would have looked it up like episode 1 just to see like if we could do it. So Leslie wants to watch Newsies, which maybe we'll do if we can find our spelling connection.
Oh,
I'm not
God.
as familiar with Newsies. I think I've seen it once and I enjoyed it, but I don't know anything about it really. But you say there's a protest.
Oh yeah. It's
Okay.
about newsboys in the early 1900s starting a union so that they can topple the overlords and get paid better. It's
Okay, but
amazing.
what about the dress code? Do they also protest a dress code? Because
They
I think
do
that's
get
very
they
important.
they do get children from other uh jobs to
Okay. Join
boycott
their.
to strike, to join their
Okay.
strike. So
Okay.
sure. Hey, you know what? Uh, Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. There's your clothes for you.
There you go. There's a dress code.
Yep.
Don't burn to death. Um, okay, so if we can find our spelling connection, then we'll watch Newsies next week. Also, assuming it's streaming someplace. We haven't looked at
Disney
that
Plus,
either.
baby.
Oh, okay, cool. Um, so we'll see. We'll see about that one. If not, we'll find something else that's protest related. Because Donna Martin graduates, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, she does.
Silly as shit. Um, so until then, Cheesemeisters. Cheers.
Cheers.